I am showing you something different today. Today, I have just done some guided movement, and I am going to watch it with you and show you certain moments to explain to you body-mind connection in real time with physical example. And if that didn't make any sense, you need to go check out this video right here. This video is about body-mind connection and about how our trauma gets stuck in the body and just deeper things like this. So there are a lot of styles of movement that monotheistic believers that Christians are uncomfortable with online, and I can understand why, and I'm not trying to go into the whole conversation of that, but I want to share with you all my movement practice before I put videos up guiding you through my movement practice to explain to you why I'm doing what I am doing. Yeah. So let's get into this. First and foremost, I'm gonna let you know it's a vulnerable thing for me to put myself in full body frame online. This is kind of scary. So I'm just stretching, just stretching. And generally this type of position right here is called a forward fold, and you'll see a lot of people telling you to do it with straight legs and da-da-da-da-da. The whole point of a forward fold like this is to let the gravity stretch your spine. That's my understanding. So I'm actually just opening my chest here, letting gravity stretch my spine, having some time with my head down, and I'm being a lot more careful with my neck than maybe it looks. I'm being very aware of my neck. This right here, that is a flat back position. I'm not so great at those. I have taken the mirrors out of my movement space because I was worried that I was paying more attention to how things look than they feel. So this is what I'm saying. My form doesn't match perfect form. And there's a really popular movement teacher on YouTube who says it's not about the form, it's about how it feels. And I think a lot of movement teachers agree with that. But you have to have experience with being guided through the forms safely to be able to trust how it feels. But you know pain, you know when you're going too far. This right here really tucks the shoulder blades around the upper back body and allows those vertebrae to really stretch. It opens the chest, it lengthens the spine. It's a really incredible stretch, and it's often called downward dog, but I actually learned to do this in acting classes before I ever did it in guided movement. And again, I'm just stretching, just stretching. So you can see right there that I used my breath and my momentum. You may not be able to understand that I'm using my breath here because I didn't wear a mic so that you can hear my breathing, but I used breath, momentum, and control to get into that lunge. I didn't just throw myself in. I knew exactly where my foot was gonna land. And with everything I'm doing, I'm working hard to just be with the movement in the moment instead of just kind of pushing myself through it. So yeah. In this position right here, it's really good for stretching the front of the hip of the leg that's down and stretching the underneath of the thigh that's forward. And you can see my knees not going over my toes or anything like that. My gut is a little loose. Guys, I have a very short torso and I'm about to put my body doing movement on the internet, and I have a short torso and I always kind of look a little pudgy. So I'm just gonna have to find ways to just be comfortable with that. Coming into that downward dog stretch again. It also stretches your hamstrings, your calves, as you can probably see. And then when my body got right there, it actually told me it needed something else. So I readjusted, came back through, and I opened up my hip a little bit. And I didn't go too far. I went as far as was correct, safe, and healthy. And then from there, I came back into my lunge. I wanted to lift up right here and just lift up powerfully, and I'm debating it. That's what I'm doing right there. I'm breathing, and I'm really feeling my body and letting my limbs think. I decided to go into my twist, and I'm still probably considering whether or not I'm gonna lift up in that lunge. I can't remember, but that right there, I was just really feeling that open, and then boom, I decided to settle. It's always, I have this rule of thumb of always back off 30%. So never go to the max limit when you're doing stretching and lengthening. Back off 30%. And you saw that I used my arm to pull me up and pull me back. So this is not aggressive, it's not intense, it's not anything like that. It's very healthy, gentle movement. It's moving my lymphatic system. It's providing more oxygen to my body because I'm doing very focused, deep breathing. It's activating my core in a very organic, natural way because I'm pulling everything into the center of my body and activating that nervous system that I keep forgetting the name of. I really think it's parasympathetic, but I could be wrong. Activating that nervous system helps us feel grounded. That's what feeling grounded is. So I think right here I was just like, wow, I just need to feel what that did in my body. I really struggle with my neck posture because I spend so much time online. So I spend a lot of time feeling my neck, wondering how that's going. I promise I'm being safe and I'm feeling my body. I am not a certified movement anything. So the fact that I'm going to, like you can see that my neck is kind of scrunched up, but I'm feeling it. I'm aware of it. I didn't plan to go into this child's pose position. My body told me, okay, we need that counter pull. So I'm not a certified movement anything, and I have no intentions of ever becoming a certified movement anything right now because a lot of the certification that I see doesn't match the movement that I enjoy, or it's a yoga certification, and I'm not very interested in going through a full spiritual journey of getting certified in yoga because it doesn't align with my spiritual practices. So I don't feel like it's a very honest place to come from to spend, like, it takes like a year to get certified, 500 hours or something, to spend all of that time getting certified in something that I don't intend to actually teach the way that it is intended to be taught. To me, that's a waste of my time. So these are spinal flexes. They often get called cat and cow. This is where I'm like, okay, I can really feel my spine. My spine has stretched downward, it's stretched upward, it's gone into these different places. Now, right there, I remember I felt the vertebrae come into alignment. Like, this is where you're really, if you do this gently with awareness, with other stretches, your spine really comes into alignment. And when our spine is in alignment, our whole body has better communication within itself because it's the like super highway of our nervous system, right? It's such an important part of the body. It supports so much of the body. And personally for me, if I let my posture disintegrate and I don't take care of my posture on a very regular, almost daily basis, I'll get migraines. So I have to really take care of my spine and what I'm doing, and I don't enjoy that you can see so much of my silhouette, but I really don't, like, these are some of my loosest pants. I don't know how to do this without being somewhat visible. This is another position I did not anticipate I was going to go into. This gets called like shark fin or something like that. I don't have my neck as stretched as it should be, but it's because, as it should be, that's by form. I'm feeling my body right now. I'm really feeling my neck and really feeling what needs happening. And I'm certain when I was in this position that I saw the image of doing some like neck rotations, which you'll see soon, meaning I understood that my neck needs that movement. My neck goes stiff and tight. So, okay. I'm kind of laughing at myself here. You can kind of see it. You don't just zone out and disappear when you do these things. You actually get very present and very aware. And that's a style of meditation that I practice that's very different than enlightenment meditation. Or there's something called trans something meditation. And it's where you get into a very like trance state and you kind of like, I guess the only way I know how to describe it is like kind of leave the body. I don't do that. I do the opposite of that. Right now I'm really stretching out my fingertips to open my chest. Oh, and I felt a spine pop. And then I'm pressing into my palms right now to stretch the backs of my shoulders. This is not just a pose, that was a stretch. Anyway, I do not practice movement or meditation to get into any type of trance, meditative, enlightened state of mind or body. I do it to come into my body. If you've watched my dissociation testimony, you know that I've shared that I have healed from a dissociation disorder, and a lot of that was getting into my body. And you will experience, as you do body-mind connection work, which helps heal trauma, it helps get us grounded, it helps counteract, helps battle anxiety and depression and all these things. And because we do God-centered wellness here, I don't do this thinking in my own strength I'm healing my body. I'm just tuning the instrument God has given me. I'm just maintaining this vessel, okay? What was I gonna say? Oh, you'll experience, when you do this type of work, something I call micro movements, and I probably didn't coin the term, it just exists. But micro movements are these sensations that happen in the inner body, and like the whole body is inside the body, but it's like feeling a teeny tiny shift of a vertebrae, or like I'm doing these neck stretches right now. When I was doing those, I'm laughing at myself probably because of what I was feeling. My ears were popping. My ears were popping, kind of like being on a plane or when you're in a car and you suddenly take elevation. My ears were popping and my eyes were having sensation in them. And we have some crazy number, and don't quote me, I didn't fact check this, it's just from memory, like 38,000 nerve endings in our eyeballs alone. So we know that nerves are where our senses receive signal. So something that was crazy when I started to practice this very intentional body-mind connection, vessel maintenance movement was the micro movements I experienced inside of myself, sensations in my eyes, ears popping, tightening in my neck that would loosen, like just all kinds of, ooh, I touched my mic. I bet that was bad. Sorry. This right now, I'm paying a lot of attention to my neck, and it actually pulled me down to a stretch. So I was not just dropping my neck and cranking it. I never crank. And when I do crank, I quickly catch it. Now I think I'm gonna come up right here and realize that that stretch isn't working for my legs. So I went into cobbler's pose and was like, ooh, that doesn't work for my hips. So then I did this instead and stretched my hips. So my main point was saying that is I'm really paying attention to my body. Okay, backing up to what I was saying. These micro movements inside of us give you this it's such a feeling of relief. Like when you feel like you've had so much tension in your shoulder and you keep trying to do these huge stretches and all this stuff and it's just not working, but then you feel a teeny tiny pop, release, shift when you do movement like this and that pain just goes away. It's incredible, and it helps you not be distracted by the pains and aches and lack of alignment that the body suffers when it's out of alignment. We suffer when we're out of alignment, like physically, when our skeleton, vessel, when we are physically not in alignment, we suffer. It hurts, it aches, and those aches are distracting. It can also I just think it really causes a lot of distraction in our lives. Some chaos, some pain, whatnot, whatever. I'm nervous to put myself on the internet like this. This is a different level of vulnerability. So right now I'm doing those neck circles I told you that I knew I needed to do eventually, but when I was feeling my neck, I knew I needed to take that deep stretch. While I'm doing this, I'm actually leading with the tip of my nose. So I am envisioning a circle path and leading with the tip of my nose, and I'm breathing. Right here, I felt something really tight. So I stopped on it, breathed, and went the other way. And I am certain I experienced a lot of micro sensation here. I remember it in my ears, my eyes, my neck, right here. You can kind of see it in my eyes that I'm like, whoa. So I'm coming back on that gently, very gentle. And that was where it had tightened, and you can see my head kind of went off trail. Those little tight spots in the neck, man, it's so ooh, you saw that one too. Okay, so now I've started doing figure eights instead of circles. And again, I'm leading with my nose, and I am imagining an 8 track. So I'm following this track, really paying attention to my neck and backing off at least 30% of what I would like to do. I'd like to be cranking it, but oh God, I yawned because I yawned. I find that when you do a lot of neck work, sometimes you will yawn. I've heard it's the vagus nerve. I don't know. I think that doing this does more than a cup of coffee. I have this espresso here my husband made me, and I've barely touched it because I'm I had my coffee. Oh man. And then I switched my legs here and I just go ahead and do this deep stretch again, just so that the other hip, because this right here stretches one hip more than the other. I want to get that hip stretch in there too. So I want to show you guys this to show you that this is not a spiritual practice. We're supposed to show up as living sacrifices to God and give Him our living body, and that our whole every single day is spiritual because it is with the Lord, but the spirit is also within the physical. And God just gives us deeper understanding on that as we dive into scriptures. This is not a spiritual practice. This is physical maintenance of a body that houses my soul. And I find that it touches that place of body-mind connection, which I described as being that place where the soul and the vessel link up. Oh gosh, we're gonna yawn again. So yeah, this is awesome. Doing this kind of movement is awesome, and I'm going to bring it to the channel, but I wanted to show you why I'm doing that and what's going on with this. If it's not something you're comfortable doing with me, don't worry, that's fine. You can enjoy my other content. If it's something that you need to just take a moment and pray on before you do movement with me, that's cool too. If you aren't comfortable because I'm not certified in anything with teaching movement, that's all right too. I'm being extremely transparent about that. I have guided people through movement a lot. I did it in the United States a lot when I was practicing there as a health coach, and I've been practicing movement for a really long time. At the same time, your comfort is your responsibility. Your discernment is yours between you and God. So you decide what you're comfortable with. You decide what you want to do. And guided movement videos will be coming soon. And I will be going to the basics, beginnings, doing very simple guided movement with you. And I'm super excited about it. It's why I've invested in the Bluetooth mics. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know down below. Thank you so much, and hit that notification bell so you know when this guided movement video comes out for you. I appreciate your time so much. Go ahead and hit subscribe and stick around. I'll see you next time.